Welcome to Solutions Studio. This is a free series on C programming language. If you like these videos, please subscribe to follow along with this series. Also, please like and leave a comment and share the video to help spread this series. Hello and welcome to this episode, and in this episode we want to discuss about these two functions and the standard input-output library of a C programming language. These two functions are fgets function and putchar function. So let's go and see a summary of these two functions. This is the fgets function. This function reads characters from the specified stream into the arrays until a new line or end of file character is encountered, or until n-1 bytes are read. This function uses the stream stdin, the standard input stream, to read characters from the keyboard. A terminating null character is appended to this array, and this function returns the string that was read into s. S is this argument in here. If a new line is encountered, it's also included in the stored string. And we also have this putchar function, which takes an integer number and prints the character stored in C and return it as an integer. Now, as you can see in here, we have used these two functions to create a function called a reverse that will reverse sentences. So here in the main function we have defined a string using arrays, and the size of the string is going to be 80 characters. Now in this line of code we have a prompt for the user to enter a line of text. Once the user enters that line of text, using the fgets function, we store that line of text here in this variable, and we have defined the maximum size that this variable can hold, and also the stream that the input will come to this function, and this is the standard stream, which means keyboard. Finally, we print the lines in backwards, and we do that using the reverse function. Now let's go and see how the reverse function works. The reverse function takes a pointer, a constant pointer, and it has a base case. If it encounters the terminating null character, then it returns, the function returns directly. Otherwise, it will call reverse on one of the characters in front of it. So let's go and give you an example. For example, we have word. This is our sentence. This is the pointer that we have given to this function. So initially, the function will be applied on the word W. When this function is applied, when this function sees that W is not a terminating null character, it will call the function on this second character. And this second character will call the function on the third character, and this third character will call the function on the fourth character. The fourth character, when it calls the function on the terminating null character, the function will be returned without any further recursion. And this line of code will be printed in sequence. So basically at the end, what's going to happen is that the sentence will be reversed. If you don't understand how this function works, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try to explain it to you in better terms. Now let's go and run this function. We are going to enter a line of text. For example, we want a line of text which is hello world. And as you can see, the line printed backward is this one. And that's it for this episode. I hope this has been informative for you, and I would like to see you in the coming episodes. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to this episode, and in this episode we discuss about the getChar function. So basically the getChar function returns the next character that was read from the standard input as an integer. Let's go and see how this function works in an example. Here in the main function, we have defined some variables. One of the variables is C, which is going to be storing temporarily some characters. Then there is a character array, which is going to store our string, and there is the I, which is going to be acting as a counter. Now here we have a prompt for the user to enter a line of text, and while I is less than the size that we have defined in here, so that we don't overload the size of the array, and while the character that we get is not equal to a new line, then what we are going to do that is that we are going to get a new character using the getChar function. We store it in C, and then we assign this character into an element of this array, and this element of this array is going to be incremented each time. And finally, at the end, we append a terminating null character at the end of this sentence character array. And at the end of the program, the line that was entered, we are going to print it for the user once again. Let's go and run this program. And as you can see, if I try to enter a line of text such as hello world, then as you can see that my line was printed back to me once again. And in fact, this sentence was stored here in this variable sentence. And that's it for this episode. I hope this has been informative for you, and I would like to see you in the coming episodes. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to this episode. In this episode we have this sprintf function, and the sprintf function is basically equivalent to printf, but the output is stored in the array s here as one of the arguments instead of the printing on the screen. And this function returns the number of characters written to this s variable or in the file if an error occurs. So let's go and see an example for this function. Here in the main function, we have defined a variable x, integer x. We have also defined a variable double y, and we are asking from the user to enter an integer and a double. And then we are going to store those numbers, those integer and double values into these two variables. Then we are going to use this character array of is, and we are going to append the numbers with some integers into this character array is. The string that is going to be appended to this character s is going to be this one, and the variables are also going to be used inside of this string. And finally, the formatted output stored in the array is going to be printed using printf. Now let's go and run this program, and as you can see, the program is asking me to enter an integer and a double value. We will say 5 and also 2.5, and as you can see, the formatted output stored in array is integer 5 and double 2.5. And basically we have printed all of it using this is variable that we had in here. This is variable is basically storing all of the formatted output string. And that's it for this episode. I hope this has been informative for you, and I would like to see you in the coming episodes. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to this episode, and in this episode we discuss about the scanf function. The scanf function is basically equivalent to scanf function, but the input is read from the array s, which is one of the arguments in here, instead of the keyboard. And this function returns the number of items successfully read by the function or in the file if an error occurs. Now let's go and see this function in an example. Here we have a character array s. This is this character array is storing a string in here, and this string contains an integer value and also a floating point value. Now we have defined two variables x and y of type integer and double, and we want to provide these two variables to the function scanf, so that this function scanf will read the string s and will store the values of integer and floating point from the string to these variables. Now, as you can see, finally we are going to print the values that are stored in the array, not using the string array but using the variables that we have used in here. And let's go and run this program. And as you can see, we have got the values that was initially stored inside of the string into these two variables. And that's it for this episode. I hope this has been informative for you, and I would like to see you in the coming episodes. Stay tuned.